Hi, everybody. Welcome. Just this is a new class that I'm doing just on drumming in the Gelugpa tradition, in the Ganden tradition. So I should have Christina here. We'll probably do more videos like this just on the drumming style in the Gelug tradition of Chod, which is a little bit different than other traditions of Chod that you get, for instance, in the Kagyu or Nyingma, for instance. Every tradition and then lineage within the traditions is a little bit different. And then it varies according to the teachers. Even within the same lineage, you will have different lamas doing different kinds of drumming in different styles, depending on how they were taught and then by their teachers and then what they like too. I think just even personal preference a lot. So we've had over the years, Christina, my wife Christina, I've been doing Chid since about 1997 in the Gelugpa tradition, and we've had over the years a number of people ask us to teach the sort of stylized drumming rhythms and techniques that you get that we were taught by our teachers. And so off and on over the years, and we're by no means sort of the authoritative experts on this, of course. We're just Dharma students. We just do a lot of Chud in the two lineages of Chud in the Gelugpa tradition, the Ganden tradition, or Ansaniya tradition, and the Dakini tradition, Ganden Dakini tradition, which is a little more rare. So we've had a lot of great teachers, lamas, and students teach us this. In particular, our root lama, Sazatoko Rinpoche, Zemis Sazatoko Rinpoche, has been our main Chid lama, but we've also had instruction by His Holiness Kalkaja Sadapa Rinpoche, for instance, as well, who is the Mongol, for the Dalai Lama for the Mongolian people. So before I start, again, we'll probably do more videos like this. I just wanted to have a series of little short videos that people can watch on YouTube or download or whatever, just for their own personal instruction. So I'll just give a little bit of a background just on what we learned and just sort of give a little bit of you could say a little bit of a genealogy on our drumming technique. So we received the, pardon me, the Chud initiation, Ganden and Saningya Chud initiation from Zaza Rinpoche, His Eminence Zaza Rinpoche, in Toronto, 1997, and continued to practice that. At the time, in 1995, I had friends, Dharma friends of mine, that attended the 7-night initiation into the Ganden Dakini lineage, very, very rare lineage. In 1995, it was as only as Kalkaja Rinpoche, the Dalai Lama of the Mongolian people, our lamas as a Rinpoche invited him to Toronto, and he gave a series of Chid teachings. He came twice in 1995, if I can remember correctly, and one of them being giving the 7 nights initiation. It's a 7-night initiation that you get, and at the end of it, you sort of receive the initiation into the rare Ganden Dakini lineage of Chud, which is from the 1600s. Choying Randro is a Kagyu Gelug Lama, who was the teacher, one of the teachers of the fifth Dalai Lama. Was a Gasso this would have been, I guess, in the 1600s or so. You should check Wikipedia on that. I can't remember. Something like that, late 1500s or early 1600s or so. So that was a lineage. The Ganden Ensa lineage, of course, comes, you can read up on it and stuff, is a visionary lineage given directly from Manjushri, a Buddha of wisdom, to founder of our tradition, Tsongkhapa. I don't know if it's part of the Kanam emanation scripture. I'm not too sure. You could look that up. I can't remember now. But if it's not, then it was given nevertheless as sort of a revelatory teaching and an initiation from the Buddhas directly through Buddha Manjushri. And I don't actually know, again, you can look it up, if it was given through the intermediary of Tsongkhapa's teacher, Sakyalama Lama Mapa, who used to quote unquote channel Manjushri for Tsongkhapa, or just afterwards, Tsongkhapa at a higher level realization. They always said that he would be able to interface directly with the Buddha of wisdom and then receive these teachings. So Ansa being that title, that it was a quote unquote whispered ear lineage of Chud, in the sense that it was, most people didn't even know Chud was in the Gelugpa tradition or what the lineage was for it, till the time of Gewa and Sapa. And Gewa and Sapa was one of the great Gelugpa lamas. They said kind of like a Gelugpa Milarepa, and he was the teacher of Sangye Yeshe, who then became the root teacher of the first Panchen Lama, Losang Gyaltsen. And so they said that Gewa and Sapa was the first lama to really publicize Chod and to start teaching it openly in the Gelugpa tradition. So it looks like, oh, where's this guy getting it from? And then he said, well, actually, this is sort of a secret lineage, ear whispered lineage passed on that way. So roughly at the same time, you had the Ganden Dakini lineage coming through the fifth Dalai Lama's teacher, Kagyu Gelug teacher, and then passed on. And then the claim was, if I get this straight from what so just Rinpoche Rinpoche said, is that his teacher is only the Sachen Rinpoche, who was a student of Babak Rinpoche's very, very famous Gelugpa Lama at the first part of the 20th century, that the Dakini lineage, the Ganden Dakini lineage of Chod was starting to I guess, become extinct, or people weren't practicing it or starting to fail or whatever in Tibet. So it was still quite active in Mongolia. And so the claim is, that it's only this Lachen Rinpoche walked through the Gobi Desert, went all the way up there and lived in Mongolia for a number of years. I can't, it's 10 years or something of the sort, and received these teachings, came back, and then gave this initiation to his two students, His Holiness Kalka Jetsunapa Rinpoche and His Holiness Kundaling Rinpoche. And the three of them, I believe, went on the, once you receive that initiation, have a commitment to do the Leirung permission retreat, which is called the 108 Springs Retreat, or Chumigyatsa, or the 108 Springs of kind of like wandering retreat, which takes about 4.5 months to complete. My wife, Christine, and I were fortunate enough to have done that retreat almost 10 years ago in Alberta, Canada, in 2015. Using His Holiness Kalka Jetsunapa Rinpoche's retreat treks on how to do that. So anyway, so those are the two lineages, and then they came down. Jetsunapa Rinpoche was, of course, a lineage holder, as well as Kundaling Rinpoche, and then Zazib Rinpoche, our precious teacher, received these empowerments and transmissions of the Chod lineage, of the Ganden Dakini lineage, and he also received at the same time, in the Gelugpa tradition, you had Mochog, His Holiness Mochog Rinpoche, who was Pabanka Rinpoche's student, very, very famous Chod Lama, as well as His Holiness Kyabje Song Rinpoche, who was one of the debate partners of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, one of the great Gelugpa Lamas of the 20th century, student of His Holiness Trijang Rinpoche and abbot of Ganden Monastery, and an absolute Mahasiddha, just an absolute incredible Lama. So he was famous, Chod, but like there's a whole thing you can read about it where Chod was kind of like outlawed, or kind of like people stopped practicing Chod in the Gelugpa tradition, and for sort of political reasons. Kind of an interesting story back in the 1920s because of great teachers like His Holiness Lachen Rinpoche. It's kind of an interesting story. I'll leave that for another time. So so a lot of lamas didn't openly practice Chod or really do it, whereas Holiness Song Rinpoche did teach it openly. And so he, when he came to Toronto to Ganden Choling to visit and give teachings to His Eminence Zazib Rinpoche, my teacher, in Toronto in 1981 and 84, I think if I'm not mistaken there. So this is right before His Holiness passed into Parinirvana in 1984. But anyway, he gave Zazib Rinpoche the Chod teachings there in Toronto. So our Lama has the full lineage, as Lodro Rinpoche in Switzerland does as well, from His Holiness Kalka Rinpoche. So it's slow, and then I know our teacher has Zazib Rinpoche has bestowed both Chod lineages, Gelugpa Chod lineages, to his students, different young lamas and tokus, as well as Dharma students like me. So there you go. So that's kind of like the history. So we've been practicing since that time and doing sort of like little weekly Chod practices with people, and many, many retreats in Chod in both lineages. So what I'd like to do is show a little bit of the drumming styles that you have in the Gelugpa tradition. It's just as like this video here is more like a little bit of an introduction. I'll do a series of short videos here to show you all the different drumming styles. But so where we've learned with Zazib Rinpoche, obviously his style of Chod drumming, which is he gets from His Holiness Zong Rinpoche, amongst others, and it's very, very sort of simple, popular form. What I've been told is that traditionally you'd have lamas give the Chod empowerment sort of in a monastic context, and at that point they would people would do what's called tam-tam, or simple back and forth rhythmic drumming. And then later on, if people wish, they would continue to learn the more stylized form of drumming in the Gelugpa tradition, what they call matam lai kadro drumming. And this drumming would be taught more in a lay context. There'd be like chud clubs or groups of people that would do chud practice in this, and then would, volunteer to teach the more stylized form of drumming. So again, it's a choice. It just depends what you like and what you do. Most people we know just do tam tam sort of back and forth rhythmic drumming that way, which is great. That's what most lamas do. It's again, there's different drumming rhythms and styles, I'm sure, in the Kagyu and Nyingma traditions as well. But I'm just saying that this is a common one. It's easy to do. It's wonderful. It's rhythmic and so forth. Why there's this whole other way of drumming in the Gelugpa tradition, the Matang Langtandra, very sort of very elegant, and sometimes that seems a little too much exaggerated form of drumming, you could say. Why that is in the Gelugpa tradition, I don't know. You'd have to. There's probably some mystical reason or something. I'm not too sure. So where we learned the more sort of traditional stylized form of drumming is Christina and I went to India, and at the time His Holiness Kalka Jessanam Rinpoche, teacher, was in Toronto in January 1999, and we were getting teachings from him. And then we had made plans to go to India, to northern India, to Dharamsala and Dehradun and so forth. We went to visit Her Eminence Kandro Rinpoche at her nunnery at Samtansay in Missouri, just outside of Dehradun, which was a wonderful visit. And then we wanted to go to see His Holiness Kalka Jessanam Rinpoche's new sort of monastery called Taktin House, sort of Dharma center that was being built at the time in Dharamsala. So we went there, and when we went there, we met his attendant who was there, who was a Tibetan nun, I think, I can't remember. And we met two Canadian students of his that were mutual friends of two of our Dharma friends. This is a very long time ago now, and my memory as a flight attendant, 30 years of being a flight attendant, my brain is quite pickled by all the jet lag, and so I just don't have the memory recall I used to as a young man, old man now. But their names are Natalie and Andrew. I can't remember their last names. If they ever watch this, they can write me and send that if someone else knows. But they were living there at the time and getting instructions from Jessanam Rinpoche, Kalka Jessanam Rinpoche, on the Chud lineage, which is amazing. So they taught us. We would go every morning to the roof of the building, which is under construction, the Dharma Center, and we would sit up there for hours and do chud together. And they sort of imparted. They also hand transcribed all the drumming notation on our sadhana and prayer books I still have the original somewhere here in the room. And then we were able to come back and we learned how to do this. Fortunately, we had Dharma friends and students of Zazib Rinpoche film Jetsunapa Rinpoche doing chud, the Ensa, Ganden Ensa Nyingma chud, at a CBC studio, but also they recorded him on an old cassette tape at our friend Colin Nicka's house in Vancouver. So we were able to match the drumming beat and rhythms with his singing and his own drumming on this video cassette, as well as a cassette. Plus, we had the drumming notation on our prayer books. So we were able to sort of teach this and show what this is. So just quickly, again, I'll do a little bit more detail in the subsequent short videos here. But the drumming, I've got my drum, and I actually, if you're a Ganden practitioner, a Gelugpa practitioner, you're supposed to, just to traditionally have a very simple, non-ornate drum, and you're supposed to have 5 scarves or ribbons of the 5 colors, the 5 dakini colors or 5 elements here. So, white, green, yellow, red, and blue. So I have long scarves. This is what my teacher, Natalie, had on her drum. So just in honor to her, because she taught me drumming, I got a similar style in the day back in the 1990s. So I will show you the 2 drumming styles you get are either what we call tam-tam, drumming back and forth, like my teacher does, His Eminence Satsuma Rinpoche, and his teachers, only his long Rinpoche and so forth. Many lamas do this. Or the stylized drumming, which I will show you a little bit more, which is That's for the insending Gelugpa or Ganden insending tradition. Then it's reversed for the Ganden Dakini lineage of Chod, which is one, two, one, oh, one. So there you go, and that's either one is good to do for the drumming. It just, in the end, it depends what your teacher advises you to do. If your teacher says do whatever, then it's what one that you like doing. Again, the tam tam back and forth style is very easy to pick up. It's a great beginner thing, and it's good to do. And the good thing about it is that everybody can do it. And so when you do chud together, everyone's on the same page doing it. Because if you do the stylized Matam like Cadro, unless everyone knows how to do that, you're the only one in the room doing that, and people can't play with you. So it's kind of like being some advanced jazz musician and you're playing with a bunch of, teenage kids in a basement, and you're like this advanced musician and they're all just a bunch of beginners. You can't play together, you can't play music. Most important thing with all of this is playing together. So it's nice to do the tam tam for at least to start, but being someone who loves the more stylized matam like hadro drumming, what the way Christine and I do it, the one reason I do like that and maybe promote it a little bit is because the drumming is actually scored to the melody. So they go together. There's actually, well, I'll show you like in the subsequent videos here, but it's actually scored to the sadhana or prayer practice itself. And so when those come together, you're doing the visualizations, you're doing the prayers, you're singing the traditional songs, and you're doing the drumming. The rhythm and drumming is again fits perfectly in unison with the melody. So again, it's like a soundtrack or a score to an orchestra. You've got an opera, whatever you're doing, Mozart or Wagner or something. You have whatever the lady singing, doing whatever the soprano giving some song or something, and then the orchestra is playing music scored to the song. So that to me is a very powerful package. Not saying that if you're doing tam tam, it's not scored. It is, but I'm just saying it goes together very, very well. The sort of Matai like hadro drumming with the melodies, and that would be the only reason why I would recommend people learning it. Is it's quite an experience when those two come together. And so there you go. Anyway, so that's the first little intro video I'd like to show. So in the subsequent videos I'll do now, I'll show you the different styles of drumming that you can learn to do while you're doing chud in the Gelugpa tradition. Thank you.